Hello and welcome. I was just getting ready with the new sprue from the Dark Imperium box set, and I just thought, you know what, this is quite a momentous occasion. If rumours are to be believed, and these are going to be the new larger Space Marines, this is a bit groundbreaking. This is this should be part of history. Space Marines have been sort of this size for well over 20 years now. So people may look back at this video in 20 years when Space Marines are the size of dreadnoughts and think, crikey, were they really that small back then? So join me in this video while I build my first ever Primaris Space Marine. I'm using the guide, I'm not cheating, and this gentleman is going to be 1A on the F sprue. He will look like that. You have a choice of moving his head, either looking at the gun or another way. Oh, that's gentleman 1A, that's gentleman 1B. So we're gonna take him off the sprue and build him. It's my first ever Primaris. What I've just quickly done is I've just taken this piece here, so you'll know that it's sprue F because it says F there, and this is 7, so this is sort of torso and leg 7. Now I'm looking for 8, which is this one right here. So I'm using these GW clippers. You can use any clippers though, but these are very, very good. So that's 8 off. So I've got 7 and 8. I like to clip all the parts of a particular model off first. So now we're looking at head number F11, which is in the same area. So that's the head done. F12, power pack, where the mini power plant is housed, and the venting system. These power suits create a lot of heat. The weapon is F10, which is the bolt rifle. These new larger bolt guns. So there we go. That's the bolt rifle off. And then we need an F9. You know that it's 9 because it has a line under the tail of the number, which is very handy rather than it being 6. So there we go, off it drops. And then we just need a base, 13mm base. Got quite a few here. Here we go. There we go, we've got everything that we need to build our first Primaris Space Marine. So what I do first is just check around the base, make sure there are no sort of bumps and things. There's a slight bump here, so I will just chip that off with my knife. I'll just move the camera in a better position for you guys. There we go. I think that works a little bit better. So this is, yeah. So thank you for joining me. This is I say life-changing experience. I've built many Space Marines before, but this is my first ever Primaris Space Marine, recorded in 4K as well. How about that? So then what I do is I'm going to chip off all the little bits off of that were remaining from the sprue. There we go. That's all of the bits taken off with the knife. Then I'm going to use my file. Use this file. It's only plastic. Just going to file away a little bit of the mould lines. You can use the mould line removing tool. Looks something similar to that. I might do that. I might use that. We'll see how it goes. Let's try. Yeah, mould line removal tool is working quite well on these. There's a tricky bit on the foot though. We'll get back to that one. Okay, now it's time for filing after we've taken some of the mould lines off. Just a bit of a touch up here on the knee. Now all I'm going to do before I finish these little parts is, I can't resist, I want to really just glue this Space Marine together. Okay, so here we go. Just on the contact points. Just like so. look at the size of him. Wow. Okay. So we'll finish off tidying these and then glue the rest of the pieces onto him. I think I sort of forgot to record that a little bit, but basically I drilled in the hole in the sides and then at the front of the barrel, cleaned it up with the file, and then cleaned up the power pack and the right arm and the left arm with the file too. So now it's just a case of putting him into position. I sort of dry fitted the head, I don't know why, I think I'll clear that up first. Okay, there we go. So now just a case of putting in all the arms, dab of glue in the contact points. Seems quite fine. There we go. So that's all done. Done and done. And we'll put him on the base. So this is welcome to your new overlords, Primaris Space Marines, complete. So that's the my first ever Primaris Space Marine. Let's just do a little quick on the fly sort of size comparison. So that's your standard sort of mini marine. I'll zoom in. I'll move them left, right and centre to the screen, so there you go, sort of see that. So quite the size difference, good foot or maybe 2 feet taller. Supposed to be 7 foot. I think this guy's easily 8, maybe 9 foot tall. I mean, his head for the mini marine sort of goes up to the chest plate of the Primaris. Hopefully you can see that. And compare it to like a Horus Heresy model. I just have a Centurion here, who's on a 32mm base. Comparing him to him, again, a good sort of foot taller. Hopefully you can see that and the size comparison. So yeah, taller than a Centurion. The biggest thing I should compare them to is Custodes. So I'll go and grab a Custodian Guard. That's easier said than done. Okay, one of my comments, been checking my comments all the time and on Instagram. If you don't follow me on there, I seriously suggest you do. It's just super underscore saying. The link's on the homepage of my YouTube channel anyway. But been checking the comments and things, and someone's request was actually to compare it to the hero models like Saint Celestine. So here's Saint Celestine, and here is Primaris. Don't know if that sort of helps somewhat. Much bigger and bulkier than Celestine now, and then compared to a Custodian Guard, he is now officially taller than a Custodian Guard. So there you go, straight away. Primaris Space Marine is taller than a Custodian Guard. So Emperor's Finest and these new, bigger Space Marines. And comparing him to Gullyman, he is, I want to say, almost at the chest plate of Gillyman, if you can see that. sort of where his foot is, his head is sort of banging his chest plate, which is quite tall when you think about it, compared to a Primark. I mean, Primarks are supposed to be a fair bit bigger. So these Primaris Marines, if anything, I think the Primark's too small now. And these are the footholes, you see. These are the issues you have when you decide to make bigger, sort of overpowered Space Marines. I shouldn't really call them overpowered, but you see where I'm coming from. All the rest of your range, such as your Primarchs, such as your Custodian Guard, and then look at it the other way and look at it compared to Space Marine, everything is just out of sync now, and they've got a lot of work to do, creating other things at a normal sort of size, because this Primarch Gilliman just looks tiny now compared to these Space Marines. These do look good though. What I'm going to do is go away and build all of them, and probably do another size comparison when I do the separate reviews. And one of the reviews I'm really after doing is of the captain in the Glavius armour, or whatever it's called. I want to do a size comparison of him next to a normal Space Marine and of Gilliman, because I think the captain is even bigger than your normal Primaris. So thank you ever so much for joining me for this historic sort of build of my first ever Primaris Space Marine. I wasn't too keen on them to start with. This seems like an honesty corner kind of confession, but it's not. I honestly wasn't keen on them to begin with. They grew on me and they did look like cool models, but I just don't know how they're going to fit, if they are going to fit with the current range at all. I think the move for 40k really is going to be bigger, better units. We'll see what they do with Eldar and Orcs and Tyranids, of course, although Tyranids are monstrous creatures sort of thing, so you could make them any size and it's not really going to have a huge impact on the whole range. Just humanoid things like Orcs, Eldar, Space Marines, Imperial Guard will. So yeah, these are definitely a bigger shock sort of compared to a normal Space Marine. Who knows, maybe they'll make Orcs a fair bit bigger and bulkier, and the same for Eldar, at which point you've now got to refresh all of your 40k range, and Custodian Guard are pretty much in your 40k range. They are Talons of the Emperor box set. They've got their own little codex, the plastic Games Workshop miniature. Yeah, you've got rules for them in Horus Heresy 2, and that is where they originated from. But still, you're going to have to go away and refresh your whole range to make them the same size as those. If you're, taking the side of the argument that Games Workshop are going to refresh all of their sizes and base them on these sort of bigger Space Marines. Anyway, hope you enjoy all the upcoming content because of these guys. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.